Hey, you guys. Wanted to touch base with you and tell you a little bit about who I am. My name's Andrew Wingeier. This is Drew's Recovery. This is my story. Uh, just wanted to start from the very beginning. I'm not going to make this a real long video, but uh, I'll tell you a little bit about my story. This is a real long story, so like I said, I'm just going to touch base on the beginning part of it. But I'll tell you how this all got started was I was probably between 13 and 15 years old, I'll say, somewhere around, and there was all kind of a fog. I got hooked on pills. I had a foot injury. Went to the doctors, got Vicodins. That's how it all started. From there, I found out that my grandmother got Vicodins. Ended up taking them from her. Then I ended up making my own connections. I was in just starting high school at the time. So I got in drugs real early. It got to the point where, that ended up not being enough. I couldn't get them no more. Very high demand, and then if anybody knows anything about opioid addiction, when you don't have it, you're sick. You're violently sick, puking, cold flashes, sweats, can't sleep, just on and on and on. It goes on and on and on for days. Terrible. So graduated into heroin. Now think about this. Think about this before, but when I say this, my stepmom. Now this was a terrible. And my dad's a good a good guy to this day, but he was sick at the time with his own addictions. But think about this. My dad, his girlfriend that I considered a stepmom that was in my life for I'm going to say 8 to 10 years, gave me heroin at, like I said, it was kind of a blur at this time. I was between 14 and 15, I would guess, at that time, so very young. What kind of woman gives a kid at that age heroin, knowingly heroin? All I asked her, I said, hey, I couldn't get any pills that day. Hey, you know those things you get in those little packs? Because it would come packeted up in like a lottery packet type thing. And they would just crunch it up. You get like a $10 or a $20 package. So I got that. And one thing led to the next. And I got it for a couple weeks. And then I ended up getting through to her connection. So now I no longer needed her. And then it just spiraled out of control from there. So just imagine that. I went from that kid. I just want to let you guys know this is possible. I went from that kid, 13, 14, 15 years old, that was a blown out addict. And mind you, them weren't the only years that I was using. I spent so many, I spent probably 15 years of my life. I'm 37, 15 years of my life, easy something. Yeah, 15 or 16 years of my life using consistently. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of wasted time in somebody's life. But the thing of the story is I went through all that, and this, think about this house is a party house. People in and out, people I don't even know. Fires going on in the back, alcohol, any drug you can think about, it was there. It got robbed a couple of times. So everybody has their own story. This was a particularly rough upbringing, but here's what I'm trying to get through to you guys is this is all doable. Even going through all the stuff that I went through and used all the drugs that I had used, I still overcame all that. And I'll tell you more about all this in another video, but I overcame all that, you guys, and still became a success. And when I say a success, I mean that I ended up having 2 kids, having a family, have a fiance, have a beautiful house. We're actually moving into a new house, a bigger house, a big 4-bedroom house. If you would have told me this 10 years ago, I would have said, you're full of crap. You're absolutely upset. There's no way this would happen to somebody like me. It doesn't happen to people like me. Well, it did. And it wasn't just luck. It was just knowing what I wanted. I was so darn driven at the time that I knew what I wanted. I didn't know I was going to have kids at the time, but I did know that I wanted my own house, this, that, and the other, and I obsessed about it. It literally almost became just a complete obsession. So I literally started obsessing about that, like, I started obsessing about, like, when I was obsessing about drugs and using drugs, I kind of switched that and switched gears and got to the point where I was just so sick of using the drugs that I obsessed about getting a house and getting the things that I want. And once I started having money in my pocket instead of waking up broke every day feeling like crap and this, that, and the other, I replaced that with having money in my pocket, with, having goals. And so, the whole story is about that this is possible. I'll touch more into detail about all this on another video, but it's possible. Where there's a will, there's a way. It's not going to be easy. Reach out for help if you need help. A good friend, a counselor. There's programs out there. If you guys have any questions, you can reach me at wingeyerdrew@gmail.com. Please drop me a thumbs up or subscribes. That helps big time. And thanks for watching, you guys.